Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Dechambeau. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining.
And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Tap Room Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jordan Stacks Lats. Joined as always by the wonderful and talented Mr. Big Ballin' Ben Larson.
That's a step.
Don't sell yourself short, buddy. How we doing tonight, Ben? Sunday night?
Doing well, man. It was a long fucking weekend, so
Yes.
glad to be back sleeping in my own bed. And unfortunately, tomorrow's another work week.
Tomorrow is Monday. I actually have a very early day tomorrow, so I'm not looking forward to that. But that's okay. Had a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yes.
My favorite Father's Day tradition is locking myself in my office and watching the U.S. Open.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I got to do that today. Man, what a back nine that was by Bryson Dechambeau. Just a hell of a fucking tournament, dude. It was a fun one. We're going to talk about that very shortly, but we are being brought to you by the Sharps app, SHARPZ. Make sure to download it. Use promo code JORD517. It's free to download, free to use. Track your bets. Become a better. Sharps app. Go get it now. It helps the podcast. So we appreciate that. You can't only use it in certain states. I will throw that out there. But if you can use it, it's a good tool to use because you can track your bets and know what you're good at betting.
Become a better.
Become a better. Tracking your bets and being honest is always a good, positive thing. So with that being said, I do want to open with the U.S. Open and what happened, but more specifically, kind of how Rory choked. Hadn't missed a 3-foot putt all year and ends up missing 2 of them, basically cost him the tournament. But not to be outdone, Bryson had a hell of a fucking 55-yard bunker shot to save par to win the tournament. It was a great tournament, but the biggest thing that's being talked about is Rory McIlroy kind of just bouncing, not even congratulating Bryson. And, a lot of people obviously have some opinions about it. Some people are like, it's fucking weak. He should have congratulated him. And then there's, people like me where I'm like, dude, if I choked away a tournament like that, like, I don't want to talk to nobody, bro. Like, sorry. So I get it, dude. And, like, I don't blame him for, like, not meeting with the media and stuff. Like, I can't even imagine what was going through his head at that moment. So what do you think, Ben? Like, do you think that if you lose, you should fucking have to, are you one of the people that, like, you want to see, like, sportsmanship and stuff? Or are you one of those people that's like, he lost and he's going through it emotionally in his own way?
So I did not watch today. I was driving and doing Father's Day stuff. So like I did not get a chance. Were they on the same?
No, they were.
The same grouping?
Rory was a group ahead.
Okay, but he was staying around and watched the last hole.
Yeah, in the clubhouse.
In the clubhouse?
Yeah,
he wasn't even on the hole.
No, he wasn't even on the hole.
Well, then who the fuck cares? If he's out there and he's on the hole and he stubs or if they're in the same grouping, if he snubs a handshake, then yeah, that's a little bit different story. But if you don't go out of your way, you're not even in the same room. Yeah. Who knows what they said in the clubhouse? Like, no, quit fucking bitching, people.
No, he didn't even meet up with Bryson in the clubhouse. Like, he was gone. But I don't care, dude. Like, that's my thing is, like, people, like, when people lose championships and stuff, they get like mad when athletes walk off the floor. It's like, bro, they just lost the biggest game of their life. Like, and you're mad at them for not congratulating someone. Like, mental, like, people act differently, dude. Like, some people are very emotional about it, and like, they don't want to talk to anybody, and I get it. Like, cause I'm similar to the point where, like, if I lose, dude, last thing I want to do is fucking talk to people about why we lost and how we lost and stuff. Like, no, dude, I just want to like get it over with.
Yeah,
my way,
but I
dude.
mean the sportsmanship aspect of it, like you give your opponent a fucking handshake or high five, like even though that if you're pissed about the situation, you still are a fucking adult, and
Hey, you
that's
can
like
shoot me a
hockey
text
makes
later.
you do that. And I think that's part of why I love the hockey playoffs so much is you just fucking fought. You just fought against each other for fucking 4 to 7 rounds. And at the end, you shake each other's hand. You can fucking hate each other, but
That's true.
you're congratulating each other for a hard fought, good series. And you don't have to fucking be best buddies. You say your congratulations and you get the fuck out.
It's fair. It's a fair point. All right. So NBA Finals got extended.
Also, fuck you, Siwu.
Oh yeah, Siwoo Kim, man, let us down big time. We just need you top
Fuck
20
you,
at
Ben
least.
Yeah,
Ben
Ben
On
On
didn't-
was a disappointment. Siwu was a disappointment. Scotty was a disappointment. Tiger was a disappointment.
Well, I mean, we talked about it on Tuesday night. Like, the U.S. Open is very difficult, dude, and this is a very, very difficult course.
Very hard course.
And you saw that, like, the winning score was 6 under, which isn't even an average of. It's less than 2 birdies a day on average. So
Yeah.
it was an incredibly difficult course, and when guys like Scotty Scheffler are struggling, it's a fucking difficult course.
Yeah.
And Bryson DeChambeau, to his credit, I mean, like, the guy couldn't hit a fairway to save his life today, and he managed to win the tournament. And I mean, he was really like not even good hitting fairways all weekend, but especially today, like, he could not hit a fairway. And the fact he won that is pretty impressive, and that was a gritty performance, man. So shout out Bryson DeChambeau for winning that.
We were talking on Tuesday with Colin, and that Tiger bet, you guys were saying, like, if I would take anything, I'd take Tiger because, he has something more to play for, and, he's coming back from injury, and that plus money would have won.
Yeah, it would have. It was like plus 155 too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Phil was terrible.
horrible.
He was like one of the worst golfers all week on the first 2 days. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, but it's like I said, like that thing was such a crap. I mean, that's the thing with the U.S. Open is it's really all like a crapshoot because, we saw a lot of double, triple bogeys. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, Ludwig Oberg, dude. I mean, the first 2.5 days, it looked like he was gonna run away with it, dude. Like, it was his tournament to lose, and he lost it, dude. He scored some double and triple bogeys, and it was over for him.
773 each on Saturday and Sunday.
And yesterday he was playing well up until I think like the 8th or 9th hole, and then it just like turned, and he just really struggled, or actually it might have been sooner than that. But it was just, snap of a finger, the guy went from first place to fucking way out of it. No chance.
Yeah.
That's how crazy this course is. So
Yeah, that's what happens when there were 2, 4, 6, 8 people under par for the weekend.
it's insane, dude.
Unheard of. Yeah.
It's insane. It gives you a whole new respect for like how good these guys are too. Like, that shot that Bryson made was on 18 was just an incredibly difficult shot, dude. Nobody had gotten out of that bunker up and down for par all weekend. He was the only guy to do it.
Yeah.
On the 18th hole on Sunday, having to go up and down for par to win the fucking tournament, and he fucking did it, dude. That bunker shot's gonna be replayed forever for the history of the U.S. Open. That's gonna be in the highlight reel. That's how good of a shot that was. Incredible shot. You should have seen me when he hit that shot, man. I fucking jumped out of my chair. I was like, no fucking way, dude. I
Yeah.
thought for sure
Oh, I bet.
when he hit it in the bunker, dude, I thought for sure it was going to a playoff. For sure. I thought it was going to a playoff. And then he made that shot, and I was like, oh my God. What a fucking shot. Incredible day. Incredible day of golf. Incredible weekend of golf. All right, so NBA Finals, Stanley Cup playoffs, both get extended. Both teams avoid the sweep. If you had to choose one, because I have this feeling, Ben, that one of them is gonna pull off something that's never been done. One of the Oilers or the Mavericks is coming back from 3-0 and they're gonna win one of these series. I just have this feeling, dude, but I don't know which one it is. Like because I think if both teams play the way they did in Game 4s, like either one of them could win their series.
Yeah.
Oilers were incredible on Saturday night, and the Mavs were incredible on Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah, even there was one thing that I wanted to check on before I give you this answer. Hold on really quick. Let's see, in that 8-1 game. Hold on. Let's see. Unfortunately, does not tell me much here. Time on ice 10, 12, 14, 17, 15, 17. Okay, so the way that I was looking at this is with Edmonton and with Dallas, like something I was really impressed with Dallas is that they're the second half was basically all bench players for Dallas. Maybe I think it was half of the third and the full fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And
because I mean they were up
the
40.
bench. What's that?
They were up 1 million.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the bench continued to play and continued to play hard and continue to rack up points on Boston.
I texted you in AK that night, and I said they have the better bench by far.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas does.
Yeah, but I mean, we're looking at second half at -7. 7 was a lot of points for that second half there, and I didn't expect that to.
Well, no,
to
Boston
go.
was -7 though, second half. Dallas was +7 in the second half because they were up by like 24 at that point.
That's right.
I mean, they stayed.
Still thought Boston -7, but yeah, they stayed. They won that second half too.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm thinking you have a better chance to see the upset in basketball than it is hockey because you have the bench playing a much stronger game than what we saw in the kind of the third and fourth lines of Edmonton. I know we got some goals out of the third line of Edmonton, but
I mean, Connor McDavid wasn't even that good yesterday, and they won 8-1.
I mean, he had a goal and 3 assists, 4 points. That's
yeah, but I mean, like he had all those goals and assists like when the game was over.
Yeah,
it was like 4-1 at that point. I'm pretty sure all the last 4 goals were assisted by him. I could be wrong, but like the game was in hand. I feel like when he started.
Yeah.
Not saying that, not to downplay it by any stretch of the imagination, but like, I mean, that game was over in the third period, dude. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Edmonton just kept pouring it on.
I can tell you, McDavid had 1 assist in the third period, 1 assist in the second period, and a goal in the second period. Sorry, 2 assists in the second period, and
yeah. So I mean, it was like over at that point.
Yeah, 5, 6, and 7. He had assists.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, like when they went up 3-4-1, I was like, damn, this is pretty impressive because like he hasn't even been playing. He like hasn't put a stamp on the game, and like they're winning and they're like dominating, winning in dominant fashion. And I thought Skinner was really good too because Florida had a couple opportunities in the first period, and he stood on his head. I know he gave up 1 goal, but for the most part, like he had a really fucking good game. And I always feel like with the Oilers, and obviously I'm not an NHL guy, but I always feel like they go as Skinner goes. Like when Skinner's really good, and he was really good in the Dallas series, they were good. He hasn't been good in this Florida series, and they're down 3-0 or 3-1 now. And the one game that he was good, they win. But my only thing is like a 3-0 comeback, I don't think has ever been done in the NBA.
3-0 comeback has not been done in the NBA, correct? And it has been done in hockey.
Has been done in hockey. But it's never, I don't think it's ever been done in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes, it has.
It has.
I believe so.
Okay. That's interesting. I knew it's been done in the playoffs. I didn't know that it's been done in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Let's see. Oh, only once in 1942.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly difficult task, dude. You got to win 4 games in a row. But I just have this feeling one of these teams is going to do it, dude. I do trust the Mavs a little bit more just because they have Luka and Kyrie, and I feel like they can at any point just take over a game. And then the Celtics, like, we saw the bad Celtics in Game 4. We've seen them periodically. We saw them most of the fucking Pacers series too. Outside of
in game.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say game, but 2 and 3 were close games.
Yeah.
Was it 1 and 2 or 2 or 3?
No,
but those were close games. That
one was close, and then they got it. It was a blowout, and then they got it close, and then the Celtics ended up winning by double digits. Game 2 was really close.
Yeah,
that was a close game. Well, it was a 7-point game, but it was close with like 3 minutes to play.
Game 3 was close. I mean, it was a blowout, and then they came back. Down 21, and then they came back to 2, and then ended up losing by 7, right?
Yeah, and Luka
fouled
out.
Yeah, and if Luka doesn't get fouled out, who knows? I mean, I don't know if they would have still won that game, but it wouldn't have been 7.
Yeah, it would have been a lot closer. I mean, they
probably
probably won that game if he didn't foul out, to be honest.
They could have won that game. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a close one. I mean, that's what I feel like Dallas can absolutely win this series, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they can.
Plus, if you get, I think in basketball, it's easier to get in your head and lose game than it is in hockey.
Yeah, I just feel like hockey, you're like as good as your goalie. So if your goalie just stands on his head for 4 games, like you have a really fucking good chance of winning.
Yeah.
And like if Skinner plays the way he did on Saturday night, I do think that the Oilers can make a comeback. I would just lean Mavs being the team if one of them does do it. And I'm not saying either of them are going to, so don't go running to the window to bet it. Mm-hmm. But I do think that if a team does do it, it's the Mavs. But I just have this feeling, dude. I have this feeling that, both series go down 3-0. I just have this feeling one of them is going to make history. One of these two teams is making history, dude. I just feel it, dude. I absolutely feel it. All right, let's talk some baseball. There's a lot of baseball to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah, a lot just even coming out of today.
Yeah, so first we'll hit on, the obvious news. First Yoshi goes on. So Yoshi got pulled from the game yesterday. He wasn't right in like the 3rd inning. I think he pitched 3 innings. They pulled him out. And then today in the morning they say he's going on the IL for triceps. Well, what's the actual rotator cuff?
Rotator cuff, yep.
What is the actual diagnosis, Ben? Is it a rotator cuff strain?
Sorry, I have it up on a different page. He's on the 15-day IL as of now for... Well, Kirkajan is saying a tricep injury. Dodgers are saying it's a rotator cuff.
Yeah, rotator cuff. That's what it was, rotator cuff. But does he need surgery?
Tricep tightness and his rotator cuff.
Jesus Christ.
No surgery. Strained rotator
cuff.
Tests did not show a tear. The injury was initially described as tricep tightness before the strain was diagnosed. He's not going to throw for a couple of weeks. If he's not throwing for a couple of weeks, it means he's going to be out another 2 weeks or so as he ramps up to throwing again.
Yeah. And there's no guarantee that once he starts throwing again that everything's going to be okay. And, like, you know, similarly, Kyle Bradish just went on the IL with a UCL sprain again, right? And that's what kept him out to start the year. And we talked about it. Usually that always leads to TJ. It's like, just get the surgery done, dude. Like, don't even fucking try. And it's eventually going to lead to this. Like, I don't expect Kyle Bradish to be back at all this year. Yoshi, I guess, like, I'm not going to put a ton into it. Like, will he come back this year? Probably. When? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, I think all they need to do is get him back for the playoffs.
Yeah, but you got to, like, ramp up before the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even, and then you couple that with the Mookie Betts hand fracture. I mean, he's going to be out probably, 2 months?
Yeah, I'm looking for if they gave a timeline for that, but it's at least got to be 6 weeks.
Yeah, at least.
The injury will not require surgery. But they didn't say how much time he was.
They haven't set a timeline.
Expected to miss. Yeah.
We'll probably get an update in the next week or so. But usually a hand fracture is like you said, it's like usually 6 weeks.
Yeah, and it's your lead hand batting, so it's his glove hand, which is good for him in the field, but batting your lead hand is very important. So
Yep. So that's going to be interesting to see what comes of this, because the Dodgers, you know, they're lucky that the NL West blows, because I don't think they'll lose the division regardless. I mean, their lead's too big, and that division just is absolutely fucking terrible. That's a terrible fucking division. So I think they're okay there. So they'll make the playoffs, but then it's a matter of, you know, the Dodgers are in this situation where, you know, you went out and spent fucking $1 billion this offseason, and it's World Series or bust for you every year, and nobody's going to care about your crying about injuries, dude. You know what I mean? Like, every team deals with injuries throughout the course of the year. Yeah. And the Dodgers have been lucky, you know, the last several years that Mookie stayed healthy, Freddie stayed healthy, right? And, you know, now one of them goes down, and we've seen how important Mookie, Freddie, and Ohtani are to this lineup. Like, when they struggle, this team struggles. And now you're taking that guy out. And he was already not a good defensive shortstop. So if you're playing him at shortstop, what does that tell you about the rest of the guys on that fucking team? Like, nobody could play shortstop on that team, probably. They're going to have to throw Kike out there for now. So they have to make a trade for a shortstop now, I think. Like, even if it's a, like, utility type shortstop, like, you got to go get a shortstop just to plug for right now. Even if they're like a 220 batter and you know, like a, you know, maybe like Paul DeJong from Chicago White Sox, who's having a decent year, right? I think they have to do something like that, like ASAP. Because the problem with the trade deadline right now is that too many teams are so close to the wild card that I don't think anybody's willing to say they're buyers or sellers at this point. Like, they don't want to commit. Yeah. And especially in the NL, dude, you basically have the entire National League that is fucking, except for the Rockies and the Marlins, who are still in the wild card hunt. So I think a lot of teams are going to be very reluctant to trade unless they trade something in return for something they need, like something they have a plethora of. Like, Willie Adames' name keeps getting tossed around, right? Being as a trade target because he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, and the Brewers have their shortstop of the future in Joey Ortiz, right? So a lot of people are talking like, well, you know, Milwaukee could trade Willie Adames for a starting pitcher, which they need right now because their rotation fucking blows. Freddie Peralta's declined, and they have a ton of injuries, so it makes sense for them. You know, I have an everyday shortstop I can go plug and play there right now in Joey Ortiz, so I have the what's the word I'm looking for? the luxury of trading Adames for a starting pitcher right now that I can use. So I think there's going to be a lot of trades like that could be worked around. But if you're the Dodgers, right, you're like, we need to go win now. And now we're going to be missing our second best starter, and our rotation's already in shambles. And now you're taking Yoshi out, and he's been really good the last month and a half. Now you take him out, and then you take your leadoff hitter out. They got to go do something.
Yeah, and Shohei hasn't had that great of a, he's been very hot and cold this whole season. He's
just
on
not
the
good
decline right now.
He's just not good when they need him.
Yeah.
When it's tied or they're trailing and there's runners in scoring position, he's hitting 211 with 0 home runs and 2 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
He does all his damage when the game's, 0-0 in the beginning, or it's fucking a
9-1.
blowout. Yeah, a blowout, or they're down by hella runs.
Yeah.
And that's huge. They need him.
Yeah.
And they're gonna need him even more. Now they're talking about moving him to the fucking leadoff spot.
He doesn't necessarily have that much speed to be in the leadoff spot, right?
Nah, he's pretty fast because he has those long ass legs.
Yeah.
I mean, I would move him in the leadoff spot. Who else are you gonna put in the leadoff spot on that team? He's definitely their best option. And put fucking Teoscar at 2 and fucking Freddie at 3. Will Smith at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
you have to do a whole shuffle.
Yeah, that throws their lineup into a fucking loop, and that back end of that lineup's already fucking trash. Now it's going to be even more trash.
Yeah. And let's see, who do they have for? Let's see, Miguel Rojas is the backup shortstop.
But they've been playing him at second base.
Then you're going to have Gavin move over.
Gavin cannot play shortstop. They already tried that.
Yeah.
that didn't even make it past spring training.
Yeah. Gavin will move to second, and Rojas will be at shortstop.
Probably, but there's a reason why Rojas hasn't been playing short. Because Mookie hasn't been good at shortstop.
Yeah.
Like, defensively, he hasn't been good.
Yeah.
So if they're playing Mookie at shortstop over Rojas, that tells you something about Rojas. He's older now too. So they got to go get a fucking shortstop, dude. They have to. And I think honestly the best option. I mean, obviously, if the Rockies were willing to trade Tovar, that would be fucking ideal. But I don't think they're going to. And then your next best options are Tim Anderson from Miami and the White Sox, Paul DeJong. I mean, those are that's your best options because those teams are willing to trade because they're completely out of it. And if Milwaukee does shop Adames, it's they're gonna want starting pitching back. So what are you gonna do? Trade him Gavin Stoney? He's been your third best pitcher all year. Yeah, and he's young. He's under club control, and they're not gonna take Paxton or fucking.
And Bobby Miller's hurt.
Yep. Kershaw should be coming back soon.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, he hasn't been the same. He's older.
No. But you've got Yamamoto on the 15-day IL, Bobby Miller on the 15-day IL, Joe Kelly on the 60, Brazier on the 60, Muncy on the 10, Ohtani out, Mookie out.
Yep.
And that's it for their starters.
But the thing is, Bueller's been trash.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good. James Paxton hasn't really been good. So now you're really relying on Glasnow and Gavin Stone, who's a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't know how he's going to be in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
He hasn't faced that many innings.
So they got to go get a fucking starter, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. They're up, 6 games, 7 games?
Yeah, they're up a lot. And the Padres fucking blow, so.
Yeah.
It's a bad ball
8
club.
games now. 8 up on San Diego, 8.5 on the Diamondbacks and Giants.
Yeah, and the Padres get to go to fucking Philly this starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
And they're not playing well. And Philly's coming off losing 2 straight series, so they're gonna fucking get up at home for that series. Which I do want to talk about too. Like, so the Phillies, they lose 2 out of 3 in Boston, and they lose 2 out of 3 in Baltimore, and they almost got swept in Baltimore. To be honest, that game on Friday night went to fucking extra innings. But a lot of people were talking about before or after the Red Sox series, before the Orioles series, that like the Phillies really haven't fucking played anybody. Like, they played a fucking pretty cake schedule so far, and they've beaten who's in front of them. You can't knock them for that. But then they face 2 good teams, and Boston's a good team. They're not even healthy.
Boston's a good team. Yep.
And they lose both those series. Like, are you concerned about the Phillies at all, or do you still think they're one of the best teams in baseball?
No, I still think they're one of the best teams in baseball. And I think the O's played very well against them this week.
Well, the O's are
I
also
think
one of the best
stepped
teams
up
in baseball.
Yeah, one of the best teams in baseball. I think they stepped up this week to play the Phillies. And they got some clutch hitting from guys that you don't necessarily, I don't want to say you don't necessarily see, but
Baltimore?
You look at that second half of the lineup, and they hit this week.
Who, Baltimore or Philly?
Baltimore.
No, those are good players, dude. The whole team's good.
No, but you look at like Santander had hits. You look at
Santander's
had
like
hits.
he's their 4-hitter, dude. He's in cleanup all year.
He's their 5-hitter, but
yeah, that's still like where you put good power hitters. Santander hits bombs, dude. He hit fucking 34 home runs.
He also
last year.
fucking strikes out a lot.
I mean, he's a good hitter. Like, can't sit there and be like, oh, he's just some average ass hitter. Like, no, that's a good ball player.
Yeah. But again, like you had guys step up that don't necessarily step up all the time. And that happens.
Santander's like the most clutch hitter on the Orioles. That dude has the most.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You fucking hate Santander.
I don't
against the fastball, you fucking hate him. So shut up there.
I don't think he's their best player, but he's their most clutch hitter for sure, dude. Like, when you look at,
he is not their most.
Fuck yeah, hitter. Dude. He has more game time and game winning home runs on the Orioles than anybody this year. That's like the only time he fucking hits.
They're not most clutch hitter.
Yes. Oh my god, yes he is, dude. You can look it up too. Let's see.
Mr. I talk shit about him, and then he hits one, and he's the best.
I don't think he's a shitty ball
series,
player.
and oh my god, he's fucking amazing.
I don't think he's a shitty ball player by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the guy hit fucking 34 home runs last year.
They said he was a shitty ball player. He's just not the best ball player on Baltimore.
No, not by far, but he's the most clutch hitter.
Yeah, and he had a great series.
You can be the best clutch hitter on your team and not be the best hitter. There's a lot of guys that are just clutch hitters. They make a career out of it. They'll be like 220 hitters, and then they'll just fucking have the most clutch hits at the most clutch time. Santander has a 129 WRC plus this year, so I mean, he's way above league average. Let me see. I want to see something. I want to see the Orioles in high leverage. Here we go. High leverage. Oh, actually, Jordan Westburg is their most clutch hitter. 264 WRC plus. Nah, Adley's 4th. Santander's 6th. 97 WRC plus.
Yeah.
But he does have the most home runs in clutch. He has 2 home runs in clutch situations this year. That's the most. Tied for the most. Gunnar has 2. Jordan Westburg has 2. But they have double the amount of RBIs because they've hit gappers. But my point still stands. Santander hits jacks at the most needed times. Dude.
And my point still stands too. He played better this weekend than he did all year. His maybe not all year.
No, I mean
but
that's
his
fair,
numbers
but
were
he's
better
been
this
so bad
weekend
this
than they
year.
were.
But he's got to turn a
What?
corner at some point. I'm saying his numbers have been bad this year because he hasn't been good.
You've been ready to send him down to the minors for how long?
No, you can't send him down. He's not eligible. To go to
Okay,
the minors.
then
You'd have to DFA
fucking
him.
bench him for how long?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when guys are going through slumps, and you have these young guys that are because Santander is he's not the future of the Orioles, dude. And that's my point is like, if you have Kerstad and Mayo and Norby and they're part of your future, then why not call them up when guys are struggling? Like Mullins right now. Mullins hasn't, at least Santander's turning the corner. Mullins hasn't shown any sign of turning the corner. Like, he's just been bad all year. So it's like, why continue? And Hayes too. Hayes has had moments, but why continue to trot those guys out there when they're playing bad? And you got guys like Kerstead and Norby and all these guys, and you call them up and then you don't play them. You still trot these other dudes out there. What's the point of it? And Santander was in that conversation a month ago, but he's starting to heat up, which is good. But they couldn't afford for their entire outfield to fucking all struggle at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't afford that. Luckily, Gunnar, Westberg, and Adley have been carrying this fucking team all year. But, you win series like the Phillies because guys like Santander, who are good hitters, have been in their career.
Played better than they had.
Played to their normal capacity of their career. Yes, better than he has this year. Agreed. But the Orioles are
Going back to the Phillies. Go ahead.
No, go.
Going back to the Phillies, I'm not too concerned here. The big thing I'm concerned is that Wheeler got fucking loaded off of.
I mean, you can't be perfect all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, also, why are you keeping him in for 8 rounds?
I think they just didn't want to tax their bullpen.
Yeah, he still went.
It's like a lot of people.
Yeah, they got that in the first 5.
Yeah, and once you get 8 runs, dude, it's like, bro, that game's over. Like, I'm just gonna get as much length out of my starter as I can, so I don't fucking dig into my fucking bullpen and ruin it for the next fucking 2 days.
He only pitched 91 pitches. Turnbull went 37.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, 162 games. It's like there's some games you're gonna have to pack it in, dude, and like you're gonna lose because if you waste up your bullpen and you go into a series, and then the next series, and then you might risk even more games because you don't have your high leverage guys available. You know what I mean? Because you wasted them in a fucking meaningless game that you were down 6 runs. Like, that's why baseball is crazy, and that's why betting live is good too. Like last night when the Royals were up 5 runs, the Dodgers bullpen was already taxed, so you knew they weren't going to tax anymore. So they were like trying to stretch guys out, and they were just leaving them in there to get shelled, just to get fucking innings out of them. It's like you could have played Royals minus 4.5 after the 5th inning, and you would have been fucking in the clear all night.
Yeah,
Dodgers packed that shit in. So I do think that there's like times where once you're not competitive, like fuck, sometimes losing a game like that is good for you because it rests your fucking good bullpen relievers for the next series, which is unfortunately for the Padres against them, and they're struggling right now.
Yeah.
Now you probably got to go face a pissed off Phillies team, and Trey Turner comes back tomorrow, by the way, as well, which is huge for the Phillies. Because I do think a part of the Phillies' problem too is like a lot of their guys. First of all, like Bryce Harper hasn't even like gotten off the ground yet. He hasn't even like played to his normal capacity. Schwarber's starting to heat up. Castellanos is like
not.
He's had a good last week, dude. He had like 4 home runs in like a 3-game span. He had 2 against the Red Sox in the game they won 4-2, and then he had another one on Wednesday against the Red Sox, and then on Thursday.
4 for 20. He's 4 for 27 in his last week.
Yeah, and they were all fucking home runs. Or no,
no home runs.
No, dude, that's an absolute lie because he hit 2 on Monday night against the fucking Red Sox. He hit 1 on Wednesday against the Red Sox. He also had a bases clearing triple against the Red Sox.
Nick Castellanos?
No, Schwarber.
Oh, we were talking about Castellanos.
No, I said Schwarber is starting to heat up.
Yeah, and then you said Castellanos.
I was gonna say Castellanos is a fucking swing free guy.
He's been trash this year and needs to.
Yeah, he has not been good.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper hasn't been like normal Bryce Harper. And they've really been carried by guys like Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott. And now those guys are kind of regressing back to the means a little bit. So they need those guys, the Bryce Harpers, the Trey Turners, the Schwarbers, the Castellanoses, to be like those kind of guys. Because all those other guys are regressing back to the mean.
Yeah, and how long is Real Muto going to be out?
Probably like another month, I think.
Is that something you go and look? Do you need a replacement? Because Stubbs has been.
Yeah, Stubbs is not an everyday catcher. He's a backup. I do think that they could go. There's rumors that Elias Montero from the Rockies is going to be dealt. He's 33 years old. Real
Muto's having knee surgery.
Yeah, but they said he's
only going to be out for a month.
Yeah, they said like 6 weeks. I thought I read.
Okay, yeah. Well, miss about a month for removing cartilage.
Bro, the surgeries nowadays, man, are fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, there's dudes that get ACL surgery and then they're like walking the next week. I know running's different, but it's crazy. But yeah, they could go get Elias Montero to at least fill the stopgap,
Yeah, I think you probably, if you're having knee surgery as a catcher,
yeah, you probably don't
want somebody to take that so he's not an everyday.
Yeah, so go get like Elias Montero. But then the thing is, like, what do you do with Schwarber if you DH Real Muto a lot? Like, what do you do with Schwarber? Because Schwarber's fucking terrible on the field.
Yeah.
Like, what do you fucking do there? Because he needs Schwarber's bat.
Yeah, and you can't put Schwarber at first because
you have Bryce Harper there. I don't know if Harper could throw yet, but ideally you probably put Schwarber at first and then put Harper in the outfield.
Yeah, and take Castellanos out.
Nah, you're paying that dude too much money.
So what, Rojas? I don't think you want to take Rojas out.
No, I mean, ideally you would move Harper to the outfield and bring Schwarber and play first base. Real Muto DH.
Yeah, but who are you gonna take out of the lineup when Harper's in the outfield?
That's a good point. I don't know if you want Bryce
paying Marsh too much. You're paying Brandon Marsh too much.
Marsh is hurt right now.
Rojas.
Marsh is on
left
IL.
Field. Merrifield?
Yeah, they've been having Merrifield out there a lot. Merrifield.
Brandon Marsh doesn't have a designation.
Did he just come back? Because he's been out.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's last week he's played a game, so he's just come back. "13 days ago, they put him on the IL.
Oh yeah, Phillies activate Brandon Marsh a day ago.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, he's their best defensive center fielder for sure. Well, Christian Pasha is, but Christian Pasha can't fucking hit, which
he can't hit. Yeah,
which makes it an issue. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good problem to have when you don't have enough spaces for guys. So I mean, you can give guys more rest and stuff. You know what I mean? And like, I know they said a month for Real Muto, but like you said, like being a catcher, he's probably gonna be out a couple more weeks because they're probably gonna want to make sure like he's 100% and they have the luxury to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they have guys. Obviously, he's definitely their best catcher, so that hurts. But I still think they got to go make a trade because I think they need another high leverage reliever, and then they need a backup catcher, but they need like a guy that can play every day, like Elias Montero, and it's not going to cost a lot. But I think they're good outside of that. I think they're fine. Definitely need a high leverage reliever though.
No. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and try and get a big name here or there to just beef up.
But I don't know if they don't really need anyone in the lineup because their lineup's really good.
Yeah. If Trey Turner's coming back, then
The hell is solidified short.
yeah.
And then Bryson
Third, Boehm's been playing well.
Bryson Stott's been good.
Yeah.
So they really just need a catcher and a high leverage reliever.
You can't put anybody at first until Bryce can play outfield.
Yep.
Schwarber is a great DH. I don't think you.
But if they're gonna DH Realmuto, they're gonna have to play Schwarber in the field somewhere.
Yeah.
Which weakens their defense.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Speaking of the Orioles,
So back to it. No, I'm not worried about Phillies.
yeah, me either. I just think it's it's 162 games, dude. They were playing at a fucking like 121 pace, dude. It was unrealistic. Like they're gonna hit a skid eventually, and they played two good teams, and that's what happens. And now they got to take care of business against the Padres, and against a Padres team that needs to take care of business too, because they're fighting for the wild card, and that team's way too talented to be as bad as they fucking are, dude.
Yeah.
They just got swept by the Mets, who the Mets are getting healthy, I will say. So, that's not a bad roster from top to bottom. They just haven't been healthy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking a lot better. So we'll see what happens with Philly and San Diego this week. I think Philly fucking smacks them, Ben.
Yeah, who do we have on the hill for all three of these games? Let's see.
Tomorrow's Vasquez versus Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah. And I'm with Philly on that one. I think they
And then Tuesday's
probably rake.
I think Tuesday is Nola versus
Michael King. That's a little bit closer of a pitching matchup there.
And then it's Ranger versus the rookie. What's his name?
For Wednesday?
Wednesday's Ranger versus the rookie. What's his name?
Walderon.
Oh, they're gonna Did Walderon pitch Friday or did he pitch Saturday?
Scheduled pitching for Wednesday is Walderon versus Ranger.
That could be a good matchup too.
Oh man, San Diego then goes to Milwaukee or hosts Milwaukee right after that.
Yeah, they got a tough schedule, dude.
Two tough series back to back there. Yeah.
Like the Astros are lucky this week too because they have the White Sox, so they can fucking make some ground up.
Mm-hmm.
Although one of the days they're gonna have to face Garrett Crochet, but to be honest, that's probably a game Garrett Crochet probably fucking loses.
Yeah.
Astros hit lefties really well.
San Francisco has Chicago and then St. Louis.
The White Sox?
No,
The Cubs.
Let's see. Arizona has Washington and then Philly.
That's another tough.
LA has Colorado. And who else? And then the Angels. They've got it easy this week compared to everybody else in the NL West.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs blow, so
yeah.
Giants should be able to win those games.
Yeah, St. Louis is going to be a little bit harder, but
yeah, St. Louis is playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decent ball club out there. decent.
Last week they were the best fucking up and coming team though.
Who are the Cardinals?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's
So said you.
Yeah, I think it's a really good team. I think guys like Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson are like, I think they're future great. I think they're future all-stars. Problem with the Cardinals is like when they got really hot, Arenado and Goldschmidt were heating up, and now they've kind of fucking regressed back to the mean of what they were before. So I just think Goldschmidt, his bat speed's just hella fucking slow now, man. Like it's nowhere near what it was 2 years ago. So he's just a different hitter now. And then Arenado definitely is not the same guy that he once was. And you got both those guys in the middle of your fucking lineup, and they're like dead bats at this point, which isn't good. And then you got Mason Wynn, who's playing really well. Gorman's playing really well. Burleson's playing really well. But those two main guys in Arenado and Goldschmidt, like if they're hot, that's a really good team. But if they're not, that's a very mid team.
Mm-hmm.
But they pitch well. They have really good high leverage relievers. Jojo Romero, Helsley, and Kittredge. I mean, they're up there amongst the best 1, 2, 3s. So I mean, anytime you have a lead and you could throw those guys out there, you know, you're always gonna be in games. I definitely think the Cardinals take one of the wild cards for sure. It's that pack of like Padres, Nationals, shit. Even the Diamond. I mean, even the Braves could fall out, Ben. Like that team blows, dude. That's not a good team. They've scored the fewest runs since April 24th. No team has scored less runs since April 24th than the Atlanta Braves. They've scored less runs than the fucking Miami Marlins in that time.
Yikes. So I'm looking at pulling up wild card right here. God, it's so fucking close. Yeah, I mean they were up 6 and now they're at 4. So slowly moving down. Those pitching and batting injuries.
Yep. And
yeah, St. Louis is there. Padres and Nats are there. Diamondbacks and Giants are a half game back. Fuck, Cincinnati Pirates a game back. Chicago and New York.
And the Pirates are interesting because you have Skeens and Jared Jones, but it's like they cannot afford to lose games the day those guys pitch.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot afford to drop those games, the Pirates. I think the Reds is interesting. Like, I definitely think the Reds could make a push for the division. I know they're like, 8 games out right now, 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
But the Reds are starting to get healthy. They haven't been healthy at all.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to. And then they get Matt McClain back in July, too. And then when you get McClain back, like, that's a really good lineup, dude.
Yeah.
But now that they're getting healthy, they're starting to swing the bats a little better. It's just that bullpen sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Bullpen's not good.
Reds are going to have a tough one tomorrow because they're going up against Skeens.
Yeah.
This is big. This is a big series right here.
It is. And I actually kind of I kind of like the Reds tomorrow, dude. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I have a different bet for tomorrow. I don't. It's going to be. I think the Reds winning is very dependent on how deep Skeens goes.
I think they can get to Skeens, though, because they have a lot of good fastball hitters. Ellie, Candelario. I mean, those are two guys that are like up there amongst the best fastball hitters in the game right now. So I do think that I'm not saying that they score like 5 runs, but I mean the Pirates can't hit. So if you can just score like 2 or 3 runs, you have a very good chance of winning the game. Which is why I think at minus $1.95, minus 200, like I think that's way too much for the Pirates. Like they can't hit, dude. So you're really relying on fucking Skeens to go out there and fucking pitch a scoreless game, which is difficult to do every fucking time out. And he's coming off the best start of his career.
I mean, fuck, Cincinnati plus 1.5 at minus 130.
Yeah.
It's not bad value there.
It's not. And why are the Pirates minus 200, but the fucking Reds are minus $1.30 for plus 1.5?
Yeah. Cincinnati plus 165 on the money line.
Oh shit, it's already fallen? Dude, it was like plus 180 an hour ago before we went on.
Hold on. That's ESPN bet. Hold on. Let me see what it actually is.
I had a feeling it was going to move because I know people thought the same thing I did when they saw it. As like, dude, the Pirates shouldn't be minus 200 against anyone. I don't care who the fuck is on the mound for them, dude. The books are just making you pay that Paul Skeens tax right there. Oh, you want to bet on Skeens? Okay, you're gonna have to lay in
Pirates. Wow, this doesn't make sense. Pirates minus 193. But minus 1.5 is plus 110.
Yeah, it's because it's basically saying that
it's gonna be a wow. Oh man, I like this even better. And then Cincinnati plus 173 money line, and plus 1.5 is minus 130.
Shit, even the money lines moved. It was plus 180 an hour ago. Not an hour, probably like an hour and a half ago. It'll be interesting to see what it ends at tomorrow. Because I do think that, I know Skeens is a really fucking great pitcher. You know my thoughts on him. But the Pirates laying $1.85, like, that's crazy to me, dude. Like, I even thought Pirates laying minus $1.60 against the fucking Rockies was insane. And sure enough, dude, the Rockies won that game against Jared Jones. Like, I know Jared Jones is good, but, like, dude, the Pirates minus $1.60 against anybody? They lost Skeens' last start, didn't they? No, they won that one. They won like 1-0, I think, or 2-1.
Yeah, Skeens only lost against San Francisco. He's won the last 3, 10-2, 10-6, and 2-1.
Yeah. But he had no decisions in a couple of those, right?
I don't know. That doesn't tell me here. Recent games, let's see. Oh yeah, he's 3-0, so
he has a couple no decisions.
Yeah, the 2-1 game was a no decision. The Dodgers game when they won 10-6 was a win. The Detroit game 10-2 was a win. San Francisco loss was a no decision. Chicago 9-3 was a win. Chicago 10-9 was a no decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's an incredible pitcher for sure. But I do think that the Reds can get to him. And then it's just a matter of, do you really trust the Pirates' bats? So I definitely think the Reds lineup is a lot better than the Pirates lineup. I don't even think that's crazy. Since he is playing better, since they've been starting to get healthy. All right, but that also brings all the trade talk brings me to another thing with the Orioles is that they're being rumored to be looking at center fielders because Mullins has been struggling. And I tweeted out on June 7th, I tweeted this out, Ben. I said that the Orioles should make a push for Lou Bob and Garrett Crochet. And this was before Bradish got hurt. But now I think with Bradish getting hurt, I think that makes even more sense because Lou Bob's under club control for a few more years. So is Crochet. If you're not going to play Kjerstad and Norby and Mayo, trade a couple of those guys. You can also trade, Mullins or Hayes. That gives the White Sox an everyday player right now who maybe not be in his prime or having the best year of his career, but at least it's like a guy that can play every day, a veteran, right? And go get Lou Bob and Crochet. Because how much more deadly does that make the Orioles? And I think Mike Elias has to learn from last year. Last year, they were the best team in baseball all season long. but they didn't really make a deadline splash. Their big splash was going and getting fucking Shintaro Fujinami, right?
Yeah.
Which ended up being okay. But they could have made a couple moves to really propel themselves and win the World Series potentially, right? Because next year is not guaranteed. I don't care that Gunner's young and Adley's young and Westberg's young and Kauser's young. Next year is not guaranteed, right? So get those guys help now. If you're not gonna play, you know, your Kerstads and Norbies or Mayos, go use those guys for MLB ready guys now. If you don't think they're ready. You know what I mean? And I think, dude, if the Orioles got Lubob and Crochet, I think that immediately makes them World Series favorites.
Yeah. So I was reading up on actually both of what you've talked about there. Baltimore supposedly is willing to deal their catcher prospect. What's his name?
Basilio.
Samuel Basilio,
Yeah.
who's viewed as possibly a consensus top 20 prospect in.
Yeah, he's one of the top prospects.
And you've got Adley sitting there, so you can move Basilio.
Yeah.
Or Basalo. And so Baltimore's reportedly willing to move that prospect per Nightingale. Add another one of their MLB ready players. I think that definitely can get you a lot. But you've got Crochet, who's playing out of his mind this year with the highest value he's ever had, but he's got injury history. So
he does.
Our team's really gonna give what Chicago wants because that injury history is looming there.
Well, I think that Chicago's asking price is going to be realistic because I don't think the market is going to give them what they probably view as fair compensation. A lot of
teams looking for a starting picture.
Good well, yeah, but I mean, like, what compensation are they really looking for? Because a team, like you said, you know, he does have injury history. A team's not going to be like, oh, you know, he's having a great year, and we're just going to ignore the past. And I think the same thing with Lubob, dude. I think that's what hurts his value as well, which is why I think the White Sox would be better suited, trading both of them together to get a better package. Because I think you can get a really good package.
Get like add like Kobe Mayo in there and Basalo.
I'd probably trade if I was getting Lubob and Crochet. I would probably throw Kerstad. Yeah, because then you have Lubob for 3 more years. So your outfield's pretty set with Kauser, Lubob, and either you re-sign Santander or you can. There's a lot of options. You also got Kyle Stowers.
Kobe is an outfielder too, correct?
Mayo is an infielder. Norby is Connor Norby's infield and outfield.
Okay.
He plays third, second, in the corner outfield spots. Okay. But I think they view Norby eventually as their everyday either third baseman or second baseman, depending on what they want to do with Westberg. Because Westberg plays both second and third.
Yeah, but then you've got Gunner and
Gunner's shortstop.
Yeah, but then
Mateo's not in their long-term plans.
No. Shit. Why can't I think of him? He just went back down. He played bat 56.
Oh, Jackson Holiday.
Holiday, thank you.
Yeah.
He'll be there for third base, so
yeah, third or second. And then who knows? Like when Ryan Mountcastle becomes a free agent, maybe you move Norby to first base.
Yeah. Thought to have Gunner, Holiday, and Westberg as your second, short, and third.
It's supposed to be a very bright future, bro.
Yeah.
Very bright future.
Stupid. Yeah. And then you've got Adley behind the plate. Then you've got even if you have Lubob out there for 3 more years, fuck, that's stupid.
Yep.
even with Kerstad out there. But I mean, again, I guess you have to. I mean, that would probably make me want to trade Mayo over Kerstad, but
Yeah.
because Kerstad has the potential to be an everyday outfielder.
Yeah, the only problem with Kerstad is like he has to play the corner outfield, and that's like where the Orioles have a plethora. Like center field's hella important because like your center fielder, like you want him to have a plus bat, but he has to be a good defensive center fielder, and that's the thing with Lou Bob is like he's a great defensive center fielder,
Yeah,
and he's a fucking top 10 bat when healthy. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's why the Lou Bob thing just makes perfect fucking sense to me. I mean, Kowser could play center too, but you know, I think he's better suited for like left field at Oriole Park.
yeah.
So I mean, I think it just makes too much sense for the Orioles to do that, and it makes them like immediate fucking the favorites, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Your starting rotations, fucking Corbin Burns, Corbin Burns, Garrett Crochet. You're getting Dean Kramer back. You know, losing Bradish fucking blows, dude. Like that's a huge fucking blow. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But Garrett Crochet softens that blow, you know what I mean? And then Grayson Rodriguez. I mean, you got a good starting rotation.
Yeah. Crochet rumors say the top are Royals, Tigers, and White Sox. Why would the White Sox be
Well, I think
listed as the
with
to stay?
with Bradish going on the IL though, I think that changes everything. Because now Baltimore is definitely going to be in the mix for a starting pitcher, and Crochet is probably the best starting pitcher available on the market. You know, the Marlins end up trading Jesus Luzardo, which I think they probably will do. I think they're going to shop him around. That's another good starter they could go after. The Orioles also need a high leverage reliever, so they're going to be in the market for that. Mason Miller, they're saying the A's are willing to listen to offers on Mason Miller, but that they're not going to trade him if they don't like it because they obviously have him under club control for a long time. So like, they don't have to trade him, even though his values skyrocket high right now.
Yeah,
and I do, and on the flip side, Ben, you were talking about starting pitching. Like a lot of teams need starting pitching. I think a lot of teams need high leverage strikeout guys. Like the Orioles need that guy because obviously they don't have Felix Bautista. I think the Yankees could use a high leverage reliever. I think the Mariners could use a high leverage reliever because outside of Munoz, I mean they've been very hit or miss. Guys like Ryan Stanek and stuff. So I think the Mariners could use a guy like that. The Twins, the Royals definitely. The Royals need like 4 of those guys, dude, because the Royals don't got nobody in that bullpen. That bullpen blows.
yeah.
That's the second worst bullpen in baseball. So they definitely need high leverage reliever.
Yeah.
Who else? The Padres absolutely need a high leverage reliever. The Giants, the Reds.
Yeah. The Giants just put Harrison on the 15-day.
What was the reason?
Ankle.
Oh, okay.
But that's a person that they were expecting to. I mean, again, 15-day. Who knows? It probably won't. It's an ankle sprain, but he'll probably be back for second half of the season here. But that was someone who potentially gets pushed down to relief role with Ray and Snell coming back if they come back healthy. That's a huge if, obviously, but.
What's the timetable on Ray?
Last it was July.
Yeah.
Expected return. He just expected to miss the first half.
So he'll be back around All-Star break.
Yeah. Ray said Wednesday that he's been cleared to throw 3 times a week.
Nice. So they'll get him ramped up. He'll probably be back by August, like fully, if all goes well.
Midsummer. So late July, early August, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause he's gonna need to make like a handful of rehab starts, just to get the live batting and stuff in.
Yep. Sometime after the All-Star break.
That'll be interesting. I do think that the AL wild card is getting more separated. Like, I think we're gonna have a lot of sellers in the AL, because I do think that the Twins are really good, dude. I think they're gonna kind of run away with that last spot. But I could see the Royals not making the playoffs. But I just think the Red Sox, once they get Tristan Cassis back at the end of the month, like, I just think that's a really good team, dude. I think that's a very underrated team. So I think if they make a couple moves and it's the Red Sox, so they're they're going to be willing to do it. I just think that those four teams, the Red Sox, Twins, Royals, Orioles, I just think those four teams are just so much better than everybody else. Houston always has that potential because their lineup is so good. But the thing is like, dude, their rotation is an absolute shambles, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're missing hella guys.
Yeah, and you aren't going to see too much fluctuation. The only place you're going to see fluctuation is the American League East. Central 5 games difference between, I mean, I guess Cleveland, Kansas City, and Minnesota could be fighting for that division at the end of the year. But Texas is 8.5 games back. Houston 9 games back of Seattle. I don't think they, push for a play there for the division title.
Yeah.
And you look at Texas and Houston, they're 6.5 and 7 games back of that final wild card spot. Are we going to see Texas and Houston be potential sellers at the deadline?
Oh, for sure. I think for sure. But I just think that the Astros, like, I think that they truly believe, and they're probably right, if they were healthy, they'd be a playoff team. And so I think that they're just like holding out hope, like, okay, we're going to get healthy and then we're going to make a run. And like, they've shown glimpses of it, that it can happen. And like, that offense can explode for runs at any point. So like, if they can just get decent starting pitching, I mean, you still have Framber. Hunter Brown's been really good in his last several starts. Eric Getty, obviously, he's a rookie, very up and down. But I do think he has good stuff. I just think he's really got to learn how to pitch, which obviously you don't really want a guy learning on a job when you're when you're trying to make a playoff push. But I mean, the Astros could go out. There's been rumors that they're going to sign Trevor Bauer, which I think would be huge for them. And at this point for them, it's like, fuck it, dude. Just deal with the bad PR. Trevor Bauer can't be any worse.
They already have bad PR anyways.
Yeah, and Trevor Bauer can't be any worse than these other dudes. Like, yeah. So fuck it, just do it.
Yep.
But I mean, the Mariners, like, they'll probably, like I said, they need a high leverage reliever for sure. Their starting pitching's just so good, dude, that they'll always be in games. And it's like, if they add a bat, like if they get Pete Alonso, like, damn, that's a good team, dude. And I think the Tigers,
and you see glimpses of that good team there. They show up for a game out of like 10.
Who?
The Mariners offense.
Oh yeah, the offense. Yeah, it shows up every once in a while. But I mean, they've won like 9 consecutive series, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yes.
Because that pitching's so good.
Pitching.
Yeah. So it's like if they just get like a good bat, because Julio's starting to heat up. He's getting better. Cal Raleigh's a good hitter. It's just outside of that, they just have like so much inconsistency, dude. It's like one day Luke Raley will be decent. Like, they just need another consistent presence. And I think getting a guy like Pete Alonso, I think that changes a lot of your lineup too, because like Pete Alonso's a feared hitter. So you're gonna pitch around guys. You're gonna pitch guys differently because you don't want him hitting with like runners on and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that changed a lot. But I think the Tigers, like, Mark Canha is going to be available. And Mark Canha is still, a good hitter. He's definitely good against lefties.
You think Tigers are on the sell list now?
Yeah, I mean, they're a young team. Like, their core's young. So it's like, trade the veterans. trade Flaherty.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, they could probably get a haul for Flaherty, dude. I mean, his stock right now is as high as it'll ever be. He looks like that Cy Young guy. Maybe the Orioles trade for Flaherty again. That'd be hilarious.
happen.
But no, I think like it just makes sense for the Tigers. So, because I mean, at the end of the day, is like your future is Riley Green, Colt Keith. Hopefully, Torkelson comes back from. He's been
say, does his name make the list?
Well, he's been playing well in AAA since they sent him back down. I think he really just need to get his confidence back and shit.
Yeah.
You know, so he's part of your future. Who else do they got out there? Matt Vierling, I think. You know, they might be able to trade him for something. I don't know. The Tigers got some options, but at the end of the day, is like, you know, you got Scooball, part of your future, Reese Olson. So I mean, you got good starting rotation. You got good lineup pieces. And like the Tigers, like you were talking about with the Mariners, like Tigers put up like 10 runs like once a week. It's just all the other days they put up like one or two. So it's like, you know, and it's a young team. That's what happens with young teams. They're very inconsistent, and they show that time and time again. Like if their starting pitching wasn't as good as it was, that team would be fucking terrible. That would be a really bad team. So we'll see. Maybe someone will take a shot on Kenta Maeda too. Because, I mean, he's still a good pitcher when he's normally... His last 2 starts weren't terrible. I know he gave up 4 runs today, but it wasn't awful. And then the Tigers put up 14 runs yesterday, and then they got no hit through 7 innings today. That's the Tigers' experience right there. All right, let's get some best bets in.
Here we go.
What do you like tomorrow, Ben?
All right, so we are going to go. We'll go 2 tomorrow and 1 on Tuesday. I really want to do Philly, but I think I'm going to leave this off of my best bets for tomorrow. But we're going to go Dallas plus 6.5. For the Mavs, I'm with you. I think this series goes longer than the 5 games. I think Dallas comes back and actually makes this a series. Whether they win or not, I don't know, but I think they'll at least push it to another to game 6. So we're gonna go with the plus 6.5. If you want to, grow some cojones, take that money line. But I am gonna go with the 6.5 points here. Tuesday, we're gonna go Florida money line. I think Florida takes this series. I thought they were gonna take, sweep this series. I was very much wrong there. The oil flowed. They didn't spill too far down this time. So, but I do think this series is over. Florida money line for Tuesday, and then tomorrow, going back to baseball, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh Pirates and Cincinnati Reds. We're gonna do the first 5 under 4. Game's sitting at 8 as a total right now, so I'm thinking that 4 is probably going to be where we're going to be for first 5. Both teams struggle against right-handed pitchers. Spears and Skeens are both 2 quality starters that are pitching well right now. So I think we're going to see a low-scoring game to start, and then one of these teams, probably the Reds, pushing the game later in the 6th on.
Nice. I like it. So for my 3 best bets, I'm going under 8 for the Blue Jays and Red Sox. Kikuchi versus Pivetta. I just think both these starters match up pretty well against the opposing teams' hitter profiles. So I really like the under here. Plus the Red Sox are going to be traveling late, getting into Toronto late. I'd probably play the money line, but I just think Boston's playing really well right now, so I kind of want to stay away from getting in front of them. And I don't really like this Jays team, and the Jays can't really hit, so give me the under 8 in that one. And then I like a 0.75 3/4 unit play. Reds plus 175. I got it at. Now it's like plus 173, but I would play it to plus 165. in no world do I think the Pirates should be that big of a favorite against anybody. That's the handicap on it. Then I'm with you on Mavs, Ben. Mavs plus 6.5. Like that one. So we're both on Mavs.
I think it's too many points. It's at least going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I do kind of like the money line play because usually in closeout games, like if it's usually always a blowout in closeout games. So if you really think the Celtics are gonna win, I would take the minus 6.5. If you think the Mavs are gonna win, take the plus 6.5. But I also think taking the money line isn't a bad idea either. So
Plus 220.
yeah, I don't hate it because I think the Mavericks win. I think this series extends, dude. I really do. So yeah, I'll probably sprinkle a little on the money line too. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch it on Apple. Or what is it called? What do they call it? The Apple Podcast. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Radio, Amazon Radio, wherever you get your podcast fix, we're on those platforms. So you can find us, Tap Room Sports Podcast. We'll be back on Tuesday night. Bless you, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be back on Tuesday night, and we'll be talking some Major League Baseball for Wednesday slate. Maybe looking ahead to some more NBA. Who knows how this series plays out. But come hang out with us Tuesday night. We'll be on around 9:15, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As always, have a very blessed Monday. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.